Once upon a time, a lump of wood fell into the hands of John, the carpenter. John's dream was to create a puppet to dance and handle a sword. He would name this wooden puppet Pinocchio. So John started to carve his lump of wood. He carved hair and then gave it a forehead and a mouth. Just as he had finished the face, he noticed that the puppet's eyes were moving. The puppet was alive, truly alive. Delighted, the old man quickly carved the neck and the shoulders, followed by the rest of the body. The little puppet was hardly finished when he threw himself into the carpenter's arms to kiss him and started to dance. As John was very poor, he made Pinocchio some clothes from paper, a pair of shoes from bark, and a hat made from a loaf of bread. To become a real little boy, Pinocchio had to go to school. So, the very next day, with a nice new notebook under his arm, the puppet set off. On the way, he met a peasant who was so ugly that it was scary to look at him. His long beard was blacker than an ink blot. His eyes sparkled like red lanterns. Terrified, Pinocchio fled and ran as far as his wooden legs would carry him. He reached a field where he found 5 gold coins. He decided to take these back to his poor father, the carpenter. But at the edge of the wood, Pinocchio met an injured fox and a blind cat who were limping along together. "Hello, Pinocchio," said the fox. "What pretty gold coins you have. Would you like to make 1,000 coins from your meager 5? Well, at the foot of the ninnies, there is a magic field that everyone calls the Field of Miracles. If you dig a hole and plant a single gold coin, you will find there, the following day, a tree laden with as many gold coins as there are grains on an ear of corn." "Let's go there immediately," exclaimed Pinocchio, forgetting all his good intentions about going to school. And they walked and walked. At twilight, his friends abandoned him, saying they had to go and see someone. So, Pinocchio continued along the path alone, in the dense, dark forest. Suddenly, 2 dark figures leaped out at him from the bushes. "Your money or your life," shouted the robbers, who were the fox and the cat, disguised as robbers. The puppet ran away through the forest. But suddenly, a trap closed around his heel. Pinocchio was seized by such a fit of trembling that every joint in his wooden legs rattled. As if by magic, a child appeared. She was beautiful as an angel, with blue hair and a face as white as wax. She freed the puppet from the trap and told him in an enchanting voice, "Little Pinocchio, take the gold coins to your father." "I have lost them," lied Pinocchio, who had them in his pocket. Hardly had he uttered these words that his nose, which was already long, became even longer. It became so long that he could not turn his head without knocking his nose. The beautiful child, who was a fairy, began to laugh. "Why are you laughing?" asked Pinocchio, suddenly embarrassed. "I am laughing at the lies that you dare to tell me." But taking pity on him, the little fairy clapped 3 times, and Pinocchio's enormous nose returned to its normal size. "It serves me right," the puppet wailed. "I wanted to be lazy and to have fun, but I followed the advice of dishonest friends. Bad luck has been following me around. If I had stayed at my father's house, I would not have been so unhappy." And he promised the fairy that he would be a good boy and would work hard at school. Before vanishing, the fairy clapped one last time and a pigeon appeared in the sky. "Pinocchio, come with me," it said. I have just seen John. He is building a boat to travel across the ocean in search of you. He is prepared to face storms and gales just to find you again. We must save him before it is too late." Pinocchio sat on the pigeon's back, and they flew eastward. John had already reached the open sea, and Pinocchio watched in horror as a wave larger than any of the others over threw the frail little boat on its side. The boat sank, and John did not reappear. "I fear that your father has been swallowed by the terrible shark," lamented the pigeon. "This monster is larger than a 5-story house. His mouth is so large and so deep that a carriage with 16 horses could fit inside." Frightened by these words, Pinocchio lost his balance and fell into the sea. Luckily, the wooden puppet knew how to swim, so he tried to reach an island on the horizon, but a terrible shark-headed knocked him unconscious. Pinocchio finally woke up and saw a faint glow deep within the monster's stomach, and at the end of a tunnel he found his father, sitting there exhausted. "Dear father, I have finally found you. From now on, I will be a good boy. Now, let's make our escape while the shark is sleeping." Together they climbed up into the monster's mouth. There they crept across its tongue and climbed over the 3 rows of teeth. Pinocchio threw himself in the water, took his father on his back, and began to swim. Reaching the shore of the far-off island, they fell into a deep sleep. The puppet dreamed of the beautiful child with blue hair, and when he awoke, his eyes opened wide. He was no longer a puppet, but a real little boy.